All right, guys, welcome back to Crunch Time, the show where you get the best NBA DFS picks each and every day. Joined here with Chris, fresh out of the shower, I assume. A little bit late here, but always on time. Never miss a day. How are you doing today, Chris?
Doing well as always. You're right. I just came out of the shower. Yeah, I was helping a few people out with some of the tool stuff. So had to hit the shower a little later. But yeah, I'm excited for the slate.
Yeah, always helping people out, so I guess that's a good excuse to be a little bit late. I think only like a minute late, actually, so not too bad. Yeah, massive 9-game slate here today. Had that slate yesterday. I think we had some good success there. We can go over it now. I got Young, Black, and Gifted here. Do you know this guy, Chris? His opponent?
Yeah, of course. That's one of the best players. Yeah.
Yeah. Still shark hunting. Upping the ante as well. Higher stakes each time I see it. So, I guess it looks like he's having success with the shark hunting, Chris.
Yeah, today he's entering the big tournament. So he just keeps going all in with money he gets.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. It's working. So I love that. Big shout out to him. Maybe one day he'll be the shark. So that's how you work your way up. Days likes that one. We got KJ here with some Chell. Got some Kachuk. I had some Kachuk. Got some Wesley Matthews. Got some Darius Garland here. Don't know the other guys. Do you know any of these guys, Chris?
Yeah, I know all of them.
Nice.
I watch hockey, so I know all of them.
Okay. Yeah, you do watch hockey more than me. Basketball, though. What do we have here? This was one of the lineups. I don't think this is the one that I ended up playing here. Was this the top optimal or top three?
Yeah, that was the optimal yesterday. I had the same team, ended up doing pretty good. So, yeah, you love to see that.
Yep. Okay. Then we got some more tournament stuff here. So solid results there. Got Dakota here, 70 to 140, killing it here on DraftKings. Nick here, 70 to 1. Let's just round that up to 140 again, killing it. NHL. Days of work here. GPP GOAT. Give him the pasta. Give him the GOAT. What is this place here? Is that that could be top 10, top 50?
175 to 600, he was probably top 5. I think he was actually second. He posted it in the NHL channel, so I think he was second.
Yeah. So yeah, super awesome there. He's been killing it. Nothing more to say. It's just routine for him, automatic. Then you over here, Chris, mid to high stakes guy, also automatic for you. Same lineup above. Do you want to go over this one a bit?
Yeah, it was the optimal. There were some swaps. I was on a different team earlier, then we got news Willie Cauley-Stein wasn't starting, so I just swapped to the optimal. Felt safest with that. I had a 2v2 like LaMelo Ball and SGA versus Luka and KCP. Luka didn't play too well yesterday, only got like 40, so I won that side of the coin flip there. KCP ended up getting like 30 or something, so it kind of went as expected if you add up both people, but Luka definitely underperformed. Yeah, that was pretty much the team. Everything else was pretty simple.
Yep. Then we got some NHL here for you as well, Chris. Just a little bit different here. No, is that the cash one? 129.2. This top optimal here.
Yeah, we had Weaver and Aiden. They were both complaining about the NHL optimal wasn't doing too well, so I wanted to check it out. I played again yesterday. everything kind of was normal. Bunch of good plays here. 4 defensemen. Obviously, you want that floor with the minutes and cash games. So yeah, I was wondering what what everyone was talking about. Everything seemed fine to me.
What was the noise you were hearing?
There was just some noise, like five game losing streak, something like that. I was like, I'm just gonna check it out. I entered this, I think, 15 minutes before lock, so I didn't get too much action. But yeah, I just wanted to see how that would go.
Yeah. Okay, then we got Turnenburn here, longtime GPP goat here at DFS Crunch. Scotty Jr. here, T Jr. He's been killing it ever since I've met him. Just doing business as usual here, first place. Probably tied a bit, right? I'm assuming the prize pool was split in this one.
Yeah, probably. I like his comment in the chat. You said Chris needs to go to the gym earlier. I need to shower earlier. I come back from the gym like 2 hours, or I came back like 2 hours ago. I just need to shower a little earlier.
Shower at the gym after.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Actually, I think, they might be closed to be, now that I think about it. But yeah, Hasty here, our college basketball specialist at the Crunch Squad, good friend of ours. I mean, on Saturday, I think he told me that he would, with a straight face, I mean, I've said this already, but he was dead serious. He said he's never, ever, 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 ever going to lose a single college basketball slate. So I love that confidence. I mean, he definitely knows his stuff. He loves watching college basketball. I think high school basketball as well. That's how he, I think, knows all the college players as well. So super knowledgeable there. So he loves it. So it's good to see him playing some college action here. But yeah, I don't know any of these guys here, so I don't really know what to say. But I don't know. Do you have anything to say, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, he's good. That's all you gotta say.
He's good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, success out of the way. Just some housekeeping, guys. Twitter, DFS Crunch. Follow us there. Post some sports content there. Also, before we start today, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Helps people find our content. Excuse me. And we appreciate that a lot. And then if you've been here before, you like the content, be sure to subscribe as well. We do the show every day, as you know. So just an easy way to get a reminder to come hang out here, get your slate overview out of the way, get your questions asked and answered. And then, as always, anyone new here, throughout the slate, we'll be using our optimizer, our projections here at dfscrunch.com to go over everything. So if you want to check it out, you've never been a member with us, there is a free 3-day trial automatically applied, no coupon code or anything required. You can cancel anytime before 72 hours, you won't be charged a cent. So definitely check that out. It comes with every single sport, both FanDuel, DraftKings, every main sport, but we have most of them, I think. I don't think we have the Bachelorette, but we have League of Legends, Counter-Strike, all the main sports. So we got it all here. But yeah, 9-game slate, Chris. No time to waste here. Got to get through it so we could talk about the construction, answer some questions. First up, I forgot. I think I was supposed to prepare this, the main injury news that we have so far. Not to put you on the spot again, but what do you know today about the slate that you want to kind of talk about before we get into it?
Yeah, so we have some good matchups, some good games that stand out from a Vegas standpoint. We have the Brooklyn and the Kings game. That's the high total at 242. So we have interesting players there. We have some value from Detroit with Ellington resting. Obviously, DeLon Wright is out. And then on the Mavericks, Porzingis is out, Kleba's out. So we have some value in the bigs there. I mean, for the most part, it should be a fun slate here. I just want to say VN Jones is in here. We're 2 for 2 now with the hometown narrative. 2 days ago it was Cat. Yesterday Westbrook. Obviously he was the high scorer of the slate yesterday. I had him as my tournament pick. So I mean, don't have any really good hometown picks today. It's Westbrook again in the Clippers, but I don't love that matchup, so he's not going to be my guy. We have some birthdays today: Jamal Murray and Andrew Wiggins. So I mean, if you're into the birthday narrative, we have that. But no really good spots for hometown narratives that I see today.
Yeah, you love the hometown narratives now. But yeah, so you got in the chat, I see Rondo here, Turner, like you said, VN Jones, I mentioned his comment, got Ampher here. Who else we got? We got Cody, Dinda, Fully Driven One. He says Rajon Rondo is a member. Sweet. Yeah, he's always in here. Number one Rondo fan there. Got Billy Kid in here. Sup. John Cotter in here. Says Top Shot tweets. Are there any narratives there? I think I saw Some. Who did I see?
Did you see any? Those those didn't work out yesterday, so I think we should stay away from those.
Wait, none of them worked? Who did we have? We had Terry
You had
Rozier, who was
Yeah, you had Rozier as your favorite play. Roby as well tweeted he didn't do too hot. So we'll definitely stay away from that.
So the top shot narrative is now the fade narrative.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, yeah, Terry Rozier, like all day yesterday, he was just doing his research there. I think he might have dropped like a few grand on the top shots. Like he was just doing it all the way through up until lock, up until his game started. So he was busy. Yeah, but let's see. Got Rondo here says about him being here. Real Rondo, he says, yeah, I need to make money since I don't think I'll get another contract after slacking this season. Chris, is Rondo slacking?
Yeah, I mean he's just saving himself for the playoffs. Maybe he'll get bought out, go back to the Lakers, something like that. I wouldn't be too surprised there.
Yeah. Apparently, Amfer says Top Shot nonsense is crazy. I refuse to join until someone is able to withdraw their money. I didn't know you couldn't withdraw your money. Do you know about that, Chris?
I'm not sure about it. I haven't tried. Obviously, I haven't sold anything. I'm not sure what the withdrawal process is. I think they used the flow thing. What's it called? Flow blockchain thingy. Flow. Yeah, they use Flow. I'm not sure if they give you tokens for that or Dapper credits, which is their payment thing. But yeah, I'm not sure.
I think from what I read, I mean, I didn't know you couldn't take out your money, but I remember reading something about them being kind of undermanned for their KYC, know your customer, like verifying everyone's identity. So maybe that's why. Maybe they're just a little slow. Maybe they don't have like a team or a system in place for the amount of volume that they got. I think they said like they expected it to grow, but not this fast. So I think they're just not prepared for that. So maybe that's it. I would just be patient. But yeah, Fully Driven says, help us with a smash GPP line for tonight. That's what we'll do. We'll get into that. I mean, I think I haven't seen you here before, but the format we do, just go game by game now. So we'll break down every game here. And then after that, we'll do our favorite plays for tournaments. And then we'll do some core plays, and then we'll actually talk about some lineups that we like with the core plays that we go over. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's get into the slate, Chris. Got a lot of games to go through. So first one, Atlanta, Cleveland. Atlanta side, we got Cam Reddish, Taurean Prince. Sorry, just Cam Reddish, doubtful. And then Rajon Rondo is in. Projected starters, Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, John Collins, and Clint Capella. Anyone you like on the Hawks, Chris?
Yeah, so my favorite player with the Cam Reddish doubtful news is going to be Kevin Huerter. I think he gets the biggest bump there. He's obviously not going to become like a main option for them with Trae Young playing, but I mean, I think he'll get the most secure minutes there. Obviously, Hunter is out as well. So Huerter is 5.3 on FanDuel, decent price there. I prefer him a lot more on DK for 5K flat. I think that's a really good price in cash games. So I do like that call on DraftKings. Trae Young, another guy.
Are you just saying this because you have his top shot?
No, I'm not. I'm not just saying that because I have his top shot. I'm saying it because I think he'll get back to like the 36-minute mark. Yeah, and Hunter's out as well. So I mean, Bogey out as well, so he's kind of like their main wing guy there, in my opinion. He should see high 30s minutes today, so I think a floor game with his minutes is pretty safe in cash games on DK. Trae Young, another guy I always like to mention when I go over the Hawks, always an elite tournament option. He's 9.6 on FanDuel, 9.7 on DraftKings. We've seen just huge games out of him. Got 70 last game. So I mean, just insane numbers he's putting up. Obviously, I mean, we can see a floor game of like 35. But I think for this price tag, he's still a little too cheap for me in tournaments. He's going to be one of my favorite tournament options on this slate. A lot of people will be spending up for the Brooklyn guards in Irving and Harden. So I think Trae Young probably goes a little under-owned here. He's just been smashing, does everything for that team. Lots of points, lots of assists. So he's going to be my main target from this team in terms of tournaments. Clint Capella and John Collins, not too interested in them. I don't spend too much time talking talking about them if they're both in. Just kind of negative correlation between the two. If both of them are in, it kind of eats into each other's production. So not too interested in those guys. I think we have better front court players that we'll talk about later.
Okay. Cleveland then, Taurean Prince, doubtful, and Kevin Love out still. Projected starters, Darius Garland, Sexton, Coro, Chetty Osman, and Jarrett Allen. Anyone there that you like, Chris?
Not really. It's a decent spot here for Cleveland. Like JaVale McGee on FanDuel for 100 over the minimum is a fine option in terms of value in cash games. Not my favorite play though. I'll try to go away from that if I can. Currently, he's not on my favorite FanDuel team, but I mean, we'll wait and see on that. I think he saw like 8 minutes last game, 6 minutes against OKC. Obviously, OKC doesn't play too big, so McGee didn't get too much run out there. It mostly came from Jarrett Allen. I think he had 55 fantasy points, played 42 minutes. So I mean, they split the center spot there between those two guys. I don't expect Jarrett Allen to get 42 minutes again. So, I mean, if I had to guess, I would probably say McGee plays probably 16, 18 minutes here in this spot against the Hawks. Obviously, the Hawks play big with Capella. So I think it's a pretty decent matchup for McGee. I think he's a fine option in FanDuel Cash as sort of a value play at power forward to open up salary so you could fit in Harden, Kyrie, and even Jokic. Spend ups here. Jarrett Allen is, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him. I think he's a fine tournament option. But personally, I'm not landing on him too much. His game log has been good. He's been putting up numbers, but I don't know. I think he's a little too expensive for me. I think my favorite guy here is probably going to be Colin Sexton on FanDuel, 6'9" there, playing Atlanta. I think he's from Atlanta, but obviously this game's in Cleveland, so it doesn't matter too much there with the hometown narrative. It's the hometown team, I guess. But I do like him a lot in tournaments on FanDuel for 6.9K.
Okay, I see a question here from John Cotter. He says, do you think McGee not getting anything done last game hurts his ownership a little bit? Like, is he going to be low owned, I guess is the question. Trying to paraphrase it a bit. But yeah, do you think his ownership will be a bit lower because of the poor performance?
Yeah, we saw him at like 50%, 60% in cash games last time. Probably expect somewhere around 30 to 40 here tonight. But I mean, yeah, I guess he'll get a little bit less ownership after a down game like that where he only saw 6 minutes. But I mean, I'm not too concerned about him. I think he's still in the same spot that he was last time out. He's still getting the backup center minutes. He's still a good point per minute guy. So I mean, if you want to play him for value, just to open things up elsewhere, I still think he's okay.
Yep. Okay, let's go into the next one. We have the Pistons against the Magic. Detroit side first. Blake Griffin and Wayne Ellington are out for them. Projected starters for Detroit, we have Dennis Smith Jr., Josh Jackson, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Mason Plumlee. Anyone you like, Chris?
Yeah, so DeLon Wright is out as well. So that kind of opens things up for someone like Josh Jackson. I like his price tag a lot on FanDuel. He's 5.1K over there. DK 5'8", just probably a little too expensive for me. In tournaments, I'm fine with it. Like if you look at his game log, he's been shooting so much. He shot 23 times last game. He's really kind of taking over this high usage role off the bench for them. 35% usage rate last game. So I do have interest in him. He's probably my favorite Piston on FanDuel. If we move to DK, we have some other guys like Sabin Lee. He's 200 over the minimum. I think I talked about him last time when it was Dennis Smith Jr. chalk day. I said Sabin Lee is a really good pivot off of DSJ. In tournaments, he was at the minimum on FanDuel. Now he's 5K on FanDuel. He got 32.3 last game, so he took over DSJ's role. Dennis Smith Jr. looked awful as usual. So I think Sabin Lee will probably end up starting here. I don't think they like Dennis Smith Jr. too much. Obviously, he doesn't do too well most games. But I think Sabin Lee is still very much in play on DraftKings. They didn't price him up like FanDuel did. He's 3.2K over there. So I think he's a good option for value, especially if he's starting. I think if he's starting, we probably have to lock him in on DraftKings in cash games just for that value. But now we're not sure who's starting. I don't think. I haven't seen anything on that. So I think we'll have to wait and see. Guys like Grant and Plumlee, not too interested in them today. This is the lowest total on the slate. Usually don't like to spend up like 7-8K for these guys in the low total game. They're only implied to score 103. So yeah, not too interested in those two guys.
Okay, let's go over the Magic then. Nothing noted for them. Projected starters, we have MCW, Evan Fournier, James Ennis, Alfred Aminu, and Nikola Vucevic. Anyone you like here, Chris, on the Magic side?
Not really. Like, I think Vooch is a little too expensive for me now. Obviously, he's been having these huge games. So he's in playing tournaments, but in cash games, I don't really want to go there. Fournier as well. I think he's too expensive now. He's coming off some really good games. We only have him projected for 32, 33 points. So he's too expensive now for that projection. We're going to go back to Michael Carter-Williams here on FanDuel for 4.5K. They refuse to price him up. I think if he stays at this price until Cole Anthony comes back, he's going to probably be in the lineup on FanDuel every day. Yeah, I mean, I don't like playing him. I wish they priced him up so I didn't have to play him. But for this price tag, he's been hitting 5x consistently. I think we have to do that in cash games on FanDuel. So that's my guy there. DK is 5.5, so definitely not in play there. Last guy I mentioned here is going to be Al-Farouq Aminu on FanDuel, 3.5K there. If you want to play him over McGee, McGee is only 100 more. So, I mean, if you don't like McGee, want to pivot to Aminu, he's starting now. Got 31 fantasy points last game in his first start against Detroit. So, I mean, yeah, if you're not comfortable with McGee, Aminu's right there. I think he's decent value today, probably going to be very low owned. So I think he's a fine option if you need that value.
You said if you're not comfortable with McGee, any reason you would pick McGee over Aminu in particular, or is it just like a toss-up between them?
Yeah, I mean, McGee's a much better point-per-minute guy. That's why you would pick McGee.
Okay. Okay, let's go into the next one here. Rematch for Philadelphia against Toronto. Should be a good one. Philadelphia side first, we have Seth Curry marked as probable. Projected starters for them, we have Ben Simmons, Curry, Green, Harris, and Embiid. Any interest in this game, Chris, first of all, and in Philadelphia?
I'm not too interested in this game from a DFS perspective. Like, Lowry's going to be back. Simmons is obviously playing. So I don't have too much interest here, especially on FanDuel. Like, you could play Seth Curry for 4K. I think these value guys on the Sixers here are going to be the ones that stand out to me. Like Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris. I don't really want to play them here. Toronto's pretty good defensively, in my opinion. If you want to play Embiid in tournaments, obviously that's always viable. He's been playing a steady amount of minutes, around 36 per game. So, I mean, he always has the ceiling, obviously. He can go for 60, 70 any night. So he's there in tournaments if you want it. But for me, in cash games, I'm just going to try to get value from this game. I think Seth Curry on FanDuel is decent for 4K if you want to go there. Not my favorite play, but it's there to open up salary for you if you need it. Shake Milton on DK for 3.9K is also in play for me. We saw him back last game, played 28 minutes, so not really any concerns on minutes with him. I think he's a fine value play on DraftKings.
Okay. Let's go into Toronto. Like you said, Kyle Lowry questionable here, probably playing. Projected starters, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Norm Powell, OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam at the 5, which has been interesting to watch. On Toronto, Chris, anyone you like here? This seems like a game that I would personally be interested in targeting for tournaments, just because I love Toronto. Also because the game was pretty competitive last time, so it's kind of that double header that they have. Feel like it'll be a competitive environment here as well, especially with Lowry back. But yeah, for the Raptors, who do you like? Is it just the main guys for them, their big 3 main guys, or anyone in the mid range for them?
Not really. I mean, with Lowry back, that kind of mucks things up for the other two guys. They're kind of priced as if Lowry was out. Um, I mean, Lowry's questionable, so if he plays, I'm not going to play anyone here. If he's out, then I'll have some interest in Fred VanVleet and Siakam again. I prefer VanVleet on FanDuel, Siakam on DK, just the way pricing is. They're cheaper on those respective sites. So as of now, I expect Lowry to play. I mean, he's probably going to be my favorite target here. He's the cheapest one, 7-1 on DraftKings, 7-4 on FanDuel. Not many people will play him, especially if he's a game time decision. If he stays questionable leading up to lock, I don't think many people will play him. But if he plays, I don't expect him to be on any minutes restriction. He's been playing well as also, so I think he's a really good tournament option for me. And then Aaron Baines, if we get news he's starting, I think he's a decent value option. He's 3-2 on DraftKings. Last time they started Siakam, they started Bembry, so we'll have to see what they do. But if they start Baines, I think he's a really good option for value on DK for 3.2K. Played 30 minutes last time, so it's clear that they do want him out there in the matchup with Embiid. So I do think he's a pretty good option for value on DK.
Okay. I see a comment here from Dinda says, actually, Hasty says Sabin Lee, all heart and hustle. Is that true, Chris?
Hasty probably knows him more. That guy's fresh out of college.
Yeah, and Dinda says, need a bulldozer emoji for LeBron plowing over dudes last night. I didn't get to watch that one. Did he?
I mean, he always does.
Yeah, that's true.
You've seen it.
That is true. Yeah, next game, Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks. Warriors side first, James Wiseman, Kevon Looney, questionable tags for them. Steph Curry, probable tag for him. Projected starters, Curry, Oubre, Wiggins, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney. Anyone you like here? Looking at the ownership, it seems like it's a little thin. Is this more of a tournament game for you, Chris, or anyone here in cash that is viable?
No, so this is a pace down spot, like the worst pace down spot you can get going up against the Knicks. So I mean, I'm not interested in anyone here in cash games for sure. I mean, if Curry gets ruled out, then we'll have interest here, but I assume Curry's going to play. So in cash games, I don't want to touch anyone here. In tournaments, only one guy that's in play for me. It's going to be Steph Curry. Playing in the Garden. Obviously, we saw him have that 54-point game once in the Garden. So I think that's a decent narrative today. But other than that, I don't really want to play anyone on the Warriors here against the Knicks.
Okay, let's go over the Knicks. Then over there we have Austin Rivers with the questionable tag, Nerlens Noel probable tag for him. Projected starters: Elf Payton, RJ Barrett, Reggie Bullock, Julius Randle, and Nerlens Noel. Anyone here, Chris, or just you don't like this game, really?
Yeah, so this is a pace up spot for the Knicks, so we do have interest in them. It's just going to be two guys here. Obviously, Julius Randle is a really good play, as always. Plays a ton of minutes. I feel like I always say this. His floor is just so safe. He's 8-8 on FanDuel. Really like that price tag. On DK, 9-3, a little harder to get to, so definitely if I'm playing him, I'll probably do it on FanDuel. Don't mind him in cash games if you want that. If you're spending up at power forward, no problems with Julius Randle. Probably gets you away from Finnegan, Kyrie, Harden, and Jokic, which I don't love, so probably not something I'm going to do. But I do think it's a really good spot here for Randle against the Warriors. And then my favorite guy here for value is going to be Nerlens Noel on FanDuel. He's 5.3K. Really good matchup against the Warriors here. He's been playing like 28 minutes recently, ever since he's gotten the starting role with Mitchell Robinson being out. He hasn't been putting up huge numbers, but I think he could have a big game here in terms of stocks. I think he could probably put up five combined stocks here in this matchup. So I like Nerlens Noel for value on FanDuel for 5.3K. He's 4.9 on DK, so also decent value there. But I just think in terms of front court pieces on DK, some of these Mavericks guys stand out more. So I'm not really landing on Noel there. More of a FanDuel guy for me, even though he's more expensive there.
Okay. Question from Rondo says, missed some of the games you went over. Could we do Q&A after? Chris, is that possible? Q&A?
I mean, we always do Q&A throughout the show, so it's no different tonight.
Yeah, so it looks like Chris gave us the approval. We can indeed do Q&A afterwards, so even throughout. So if you have questions, we can go over them now as well. But yeah, let's get into the next game. We got Sacramento against Brooklyn. This is a game that you have interest in, Chris. I know that much. Sacramento side, we got Harrison Barnes, questionable tag. Glenn Robinson, the third, is out. And then projected starters, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Barnes if he is in, Bagley, and Holmes. Anyone on the Kings that is viable here for cash or tournaments?
Yeah, so this is the best game environment. This Kings side doesn't stand out to me in cash games, but I love it in tournaments. De'Aaron Fox is going to be my guy here in tournaments. 8K on DK, 7.9 on FanDuel. One of my favorite tournament options today, going up against the Nets. So I love the matchup. He's had some down games, but I mean, I think all that will do for us is just decrease his ownership a little bit. So definitely no problems with De'Aaron Fox. He's going to be my favorite guy here. Rashawn Holmes, don't love him in this spot. I think he could maybe get run off the court. Obviously, Brooklyn plays small, so don't love that matchup. The price is fine, 6.4 on FanDuel, 5.6 on DK, sorry. I think that's a decent option in tournaments. I don't think he's going to be too highly owned. So Rashawn Holmes is probably my second favorite guy here. But for the most part, it's going to be De'Aaron Fox. Like, you can play Tyrese Haliburton as well. He's a little priced up now, 6.5 on DK, 6.3 on FanDuel. But he obviously had the big game last time against the Bucks, scored 50 points. That was a hometown game for him. So, I mean, hometown narrative comes through once again. I don't think I mentioned that one, though. But yeah, he's like, we've seen the ceiling with him. I really like him as a player. So if you want to play him, I have no problems with him. But for the most part, it's going to be Fox here from the Kings side.
Yeah, he also loves to play against Toronto. He's been, I think, 2 for 2 against them, exceeded value. So every time he plays Toronto, lock him in, I think, for tournaments. Yeah, Brooklyn side, Chris, this is the side that you're most excited about in this slate, I think. For them, news here, we got Shump is in, Jeff Green questionable, Tyler Johnson in, and then KD and TLC both out for them. Projected starters, Harden, Irving, Brown, Harris, and Green. Why do you love the Nets so much today, Chris?
So they're playing the Kings. I always love to target the Kings. KD is out. So it boosts all the usage, shots, all that stuff for the main two guys. I'm going to lock in Kyrie and Harden on both sides in cash games. I think the floor there is just too safe to pass up on. They're implied to score 124. So both of them are my guys in cash and tournaments on both sites. If you had to pick one, I would probably go with Irving just because the price is better there. But, I mean, both of them have just been crushing with KD out, so I'm going to play both of them on both sites in my cash games. And then outside of that, not too interested in these guys. Like, all of the usage goes to their two main guys. So, I mean, Joe Harris, DeAndre Jordan, Jeff Green, don't really want to go there.
Okay. Seeing some comments here. Rondo says Harden's getting a triple-double tonight. Fingers crossed. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely could. He's been putting up huge numbers.
Yeah, Hasty says, watch that Clips Jazz game. Not sure what you watched, but the Jazz just gave it away. Clips barely squawked out the win, and Jazz played Donovan. Jazz, I'm kind of blocking it out. Was it Jazz played bad? Donovan still almost brought them back at the buzzer. You were talking shit about them, weren't you, the other day to Hasty?
No, I wasn't doing that. I was just saying, like, I was asking him what happened. Obviously, he hadn't seen the game yet, but yeah, this is what he said happened. They played a really fun game yesterday. I told Hasty to watch that one. I really enjoyed watching that game against the Hornets.
Hasty says, push off P and his boys were flopping all over, and the refs clearly had an outcome in mind, just saying Jazz in 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Jazz, so I mean, definitely nothing bad from me here.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, next game we got the Celtics against the Mavs. Boston side, I don't see anything noted for them. Projected starters, we have Kemba Walker, Brown, Tatum, Tice, and Thompson. Do you like anyone here on the Celtics, Chris?
Not really. Kemba's back. Missed the last game back to back due to the back to back. I think Tice out before. I think he was, or maybe Tristan Thompson was out. They're all back now, so I mean, I'm not too interested in this Boston side here tonight. If you want to play Brown and Tatum in tournaments, obviously they're always in play. Tatum's my guy on FanDuel for 9.4. I think that's a decent price tag. But on DraftKings, they're priced even better. 8.9 for Tatum, 8K flat for Brown. I think if you want to go there in tournaments, I'm fine with it. Obviously, we're going to be playing a lot of Mavs, so if you want to run it back, Tatum on FanDuel is my guy, and probably Tatum on TK as well, 8.9.
Okay, let's go into the Dallas then. Porzingis out. We had that before the show, so yeah, Porzingis out. Maxi Kleba also out for them. Projected starters, we have Doncic, Richardson, Hardaway Jr., Finney Smith, and Powell. Who do you have interest in here, Chris, with Zingas out and Kleba?
Yeah, so these guys are still really cheap on DK. Willie Cauley-Stein and Dwight Powell specifically. I don't mind playing them together, just kind of probably locking up 40 minutes in total for between the two of them. Yeah, so you're paying 6.1K on DK for both of them. Definitely don't mind doing that in cash games. Probably something that I'm going to do over there as of now, especially. On FanDuel, they're not in play as much. Obviously, they're both only center. I like spending up at center with Jokic with the way he's been playing with the matchup today against Portland as well. So, I mean, definitely more in play on DK for Cauley-Stein and Dwight Powell. Tim Hardaway Jr. is someone that's pretty interesting on both sides. He's also a much better play on DK, but on FanDuel, he's 4.8K. I think he's also in play there. DK 4.5. I think that's an easy lock for us tonight. Yeah, and then obviously the big guy here, Luka Doncic, 11.2 on DK, 11.2 on FanDuel as well. We saw him have one of his worst games yesterday. He just looked out of rhythm. Obviously, they had the week break with the storm in Texas, so maybe it was due to that. But he just looked very out of rhythm. Wasn't really hitting his shots. His three-pointers weren't falling as well. So, I mean, I'm not too high on Doncic today. I think he's a good pivot in tournaments off of these Nets in Harden and Irving. But, I mean, in cash games, I'm just going to go with the Nets here in the huge implied team total game.
It's crazy, though. You say off game, but his numbers are still pretty impressive. Did he just miss a lot of shots with the 21 points here?
Well, I mean, he got 42 points, so he only went 3.7x here. It's not pretty good, not that good for his price tag.
No, I just mean it's kind of crazy for this guy. Like, that's an off game. That's pretty nice.
Oh, you just mean not in terms of DFS?
Yeah, just as a player, basketball player, like he's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he has the crazy roll there. He shot 8 for 18, so it wasn't awful, but I think in the first half he couldn't hit a shot. Shot 2 for 9 from the free throw line as well, so that was one of his worst free throw games.
Yep. Before I load up the next game, Chris, seeing a question from Jaden says, do you like Russell or Jamal FanDuel tournaments?
I'll go with Jamal Murray there. Really good matchup against the Blazers.
Okay. Let's load up this next game, get into it. Minnesota against Milwaukee. Minnesota side, we got Jarrett Culver out for them. Cat, I think he's in. I just see a note here, but there's nothing in the note. Projected starters: Rubio, Beasley, Ant-Man, Catman, and Vanderbilt. Anyone you like here, Chris, against the Bucks, or not really? Guessing the spread isn't that good. It doesn't look too good.
Yeah, so 10.5 point spread favoring the Bucks here. Tough matchup against the Bucks. Obviously, they're pretty good defensively. If you want to play someone, it's going to be Cat here. 9.6 on DK, 9.7 on FanDuel. If you want to pivot off of Jokic to go to him, I'm fine with that. But other than that, I don't want to play the Timberwolves here against the Bucks. We just have a huge slate, much better spots elsewhere.
Okay, let's go over the Bucks then. Drew Holiday and Jalen Adams out for them. Projected starters: DJ Augustine, DiVincenzo, your boy DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Brolo. Who do you like there?
Yeah, I just want to go over some of the chat first. So BN Jones says, sorry, I had a phone call, missed everything, jumped back into here, missed a value play of the day, Robert Williams. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Robert Williams today. Like, obviously, like Tyson Thompson are in there, so I don't know if I really want to play Robert Williams. I mean, he's been crushing, playing 20 minutes a game. I don't know how I feel though. He's kind of priced up now. We were getting him at like 3.2 before. Now he's 3.9 on DK. I think he's probably a good tournament value option just because he has that ceiling. And Van Jones is a tournament guy, so I mean, yeah, I don't hate that play in tournaments as a value play. And then Dinda says Patton tonight. Patton's not playing. Obviously, he's on the Houston Rockets now, so not playing tonight. Leighton says Cat should get more touches as the new coach wants him to be the focal point of the offense. I mean, it's not like Cat wasn't the focal point of the offense before. So I don't know. It's a tough matchup here. If you expect this game to stay close, and yeah, if you expect it to stay close, then you can play Cat just because he's going to be the one that keeps it close. But I don't love the spot here against the Bucks.
Would you do like a player group, Giannis Cat, or like Giannis Cat Middleton, if you expected it to stay close?
Yeah, I mean, Middleton's popping anyways just because of his price tag. On DK, Giannis is popping because of his price tag there. So yeah, I guess if you're playing Middleton on FanDuel, you can run it back with Cat in tournaments. If you're playing Giannis on DK, you could run it back with Cat in tournaments. But I mean, if you do that, you're getting away from the Brooklyn guys, which I don't know. I don't feel too comfortable doing that.
Okay. But yeah, in terms of the Milwaukee side, Chris, who do you like there?
Yeah, so like I said, Middleton is very much in play for me here on FanDuel. 7.2K still. We saw the big game last time out. Finally got there for us, got 64 fantasy points. Usage rate has kind of been trending upwards in the last two games. It was 28 the first game, then 33 last game, so 33% last game. So definitely trending in the right direction. Really good matchup against the Timberwolves here. So I'm definitely fine playing Chris Middleton here tonight on FanDuel. And then Giannis as well, always in play for us. Just kind of finding it hard to land on him just because I'm prioritizing Kyrie and Harden on FanDuel. But on DK, Giannis is definitely in play. I think we pick him over Jokic there. So he's 11K on DK. Really like that price tag. Obviously, really good matchup here against the Timberwolves. So we could see 70 from Giannis once again, as he's been doing recently.
Okay. Let's move on to the next game. Wizards against the Clippers. So Wizards side, we have Westbrook marked as back in, or just in here. This is back-to-back for them, right?
Yeah.
So I guess, he's playing the back-to-back here. Projected starters: Westbrook, Beal, Garrison Matthews, Rui Hachimura, and Mo Wagner. Any interest here, Chris?
Not really. I mean, I had interest in the Wizards yesterday. Obviously, it was the front end of the back-to-back. Both Westbrook and Beal played 44 minutes yesterday, so that kind of gets me off of them a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't really love anyone here, honestly. I don't think they're great tournament options. Clippers are tough defensively. Like, if you think this game stays close, then I guess you could play Westbrook or Beal. But I mean, I don't know. I don't love this spot.
Okay. Wait, anyone else there other than those two guys that you would consider rostering for tournaments, maybe?
Not really. I talk about pretend sometimes, but he hasn't looked too good. Yeah, he's very boomer bust. So, yeah, not really.
What about someone like Neto? Would that be like if Westbrook didn't play today, or if they played less minutes?
No, we got news that Westbrook's playing today, I think a few hours ago, so don't want to touch Neto either.
Okay, let's move Sorry, we didn't do the Clippers. My bad. Clippers side, Daniel Oturu out for them. Projected starters: Pat Bev, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nick Batum, Serge Ibaka. Who do you like here, Chris?
Like same sort of thing. It's always Kawhi and Paul George. We got a good matchup here against the Wizards, but in my opinion, I'd rather target the Nets. They're both implied to score 124, both teams, but I mean, I just feel much better about the Kyrie and Harden duo over this duo. Paul George has kind of had limited minutes. He only played 32 last game, 26 the game before. So I mean, it's trending upwards, but I don't feel too comfortable with it. He's 8.5K on FanDuel, 9-1 on DK. So don't really want to play Paul George here. If you want to play one of these studs, I'll go with Kawhi Leonard, 9-4 on DK, 9-8 on FanDuel. So I mean, if you play them, like I keep saying with all the other studs, you're getting away from the Nets guys, most likely. So I mean, I don't mind it with Kawhi. The spread is large, so that's a little concerning as well. It's the largest spread on the slate at 11.5. So yeah, if you think it stays close, if you want to stack this game, I think you'll have some really good options there. Definitely a bunch of these guys have room to hit the ceiling against the Wizards. But I mean, I don't really think this game stays close just because it's a back-to-back for the Wizards and they played an OT game yesterday.
Okay, some comments here in the chat. VN Jones says, "How about my Wizards?" You said they've been playing well lately, right?
Yes, I think I said it yesterday as well. I was mentioning that they've won like 4 in a row yesterday, and they beat some good teams. I think it was Denver, Portland, 2 other good teams. I forget who they were, but yeah, they've definitely been playing well. I actually bet on the Wizards money line yesterday, so that worked out well for me. But I don't love the spot here, just because they played heavy minutes last night. The Clippers are good, so I think this might be a game that they kind of wave the white flag early if they're down like double digits at like the end of the third quarter.
That's sort of why I was asking about Raul. Like who, if they did that, Westbrook and Beal maybe play less, right? Who would benefit there for them?
Not really anyone. Like it's not like Neto is this huge high usage guy off the bench. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe like Rui Hachimura if they play him in blowout time, which I doubt they do. It's kind of hard for me to take anyone in that sort of scenario.
Yeah, no mid to high usage guy there.
Yeah, exactly.
Jaden here, we touched on McGee, Chris. He says, would you play JaVale in tournaments?
I mean, not. I don't love that play just because he's limited with his minutes. He's splitting minutes with Jarrett Allen. So, I mean, the only way JaVale McGee will smash his price tag is if Jarrett Allen gets into foul trouble or if he gets hurt. But yeah, otherwise it's going to be like split. The minutes are going to be split. Probably Jarrett Allen playing 32 or so, and then McGee playing the other 16. So, I mean, the minutes floor there isn't great in tournaments for me, but I think in cash games it's fine.
Yeah, and then we forgot about this narrative here, so shout out to Layden for bringing it up. He says Westbrook versus Pat Bev narrative. It's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, I
All
mean,
the injuries.
yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah, do you like the narrative there? Like, we went over narratives before, but I don't think we ever went over, like, someone injuring a player all the time narrative.
No, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, tough matchup here. Westbrook played 44 minutes last night, so, I mean, I don't expect him to play high 30s tonight, probably low 30s. But, I mean, I could be wrong. This game, if this game stays close and Westbrook plays 40 minutes, I mean, he's going to crush again. He's been playing very well recently, so.
Wouldn't he be, like, the type of guy who would want to, like, crush it against Pat Bev with their history, Westbrook?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is. He played his first back-to-back last time against Houston. I think it was because they played Houston. He's probably playing this one because it's against the Clippers. But like I said, he played just so many minutes yesterday. He almost played an entire game with 44 minutes. So that's my only concern with him.
Yeah. I kind of like that as a tournament idea there. If you did play it, Chris, I guess it's something you said you're not comfortable playing. But say you were, how much over the field would you be comfortable going? Like I think we have him 10% here, so it'd be like 2x, 3x.
Yeah, maybe like 20%, 25% total.
Okay.
I prefer more on DK, 9.2K over there. Or sorry, on FanDuel, 9.2K. On DK, he's 9.8, so more expensive there. But yeah, I prefer him on FanDuel here for 9.2K. If you're playing him, you might as well just set a group that includes Kawhi Leonard as well, because then you're hoping the game stays close.
Okay. Good question there. Good narrative you brought up, Layden. Vian Jones says not playing them either. The Wizards guys there. Hasty also says Pat Bev been shooting well lately. Chris, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think I said it like 2 shows ago, maybe 3 shows ago. Like I'm very surprised that Beverly's shooting like 40% from the 3-point line this year.
Yeah. Okay, I think there's some more comments here. Vian Jones says, if I took a vodka shot every time Chris says Nets guys, I'd be drunk. Yeah, you love the Nets guys, Chris, hey?
Yeah, there's a few words I repeat a lot. Probably definitely as well. I think that's another one there.
Nets guys. Let's go with Nets guys. Yeah, Hasty says Westbrook Bev is going to be a war. But yeah, last game here, Chris. Looks like a good late night hammer. You love saying late night hammer. We have the Trailblazers against the Nuggets. So Portland side, we have Harry Giles out for them. Projected starters, Dame Time, Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Derek Jones Jr., Rocco, and Enes Kanter. Seems like Lillard, we always liked him. I think he was hovering in the 9K price tag range now. I think he's at 10. I see him at 10.3 here on FanDuel. What is he on DraftKings? 10.4 as well. So quite a bit priced up there. Is he still a good price for tournaments, Chris, or not so much?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a decent option here. I'm not getting there in cash games just because of the Nets guys. So yeah. So if you want to go there in tournaments, obviously we have some interest in Jokic. I think there's better plays on the other side of this game. Just because Dame is expensive. Denver's pretty tough defensively, in my opinion. Yeah, so I mean, really, I'm not too interested in these Blazers. I think once we get to the Nuggets side, that's where I'll have more of my interest. But if you want to play Dame in tournaments, no problems with that. But not for me in cash games tonight for his price tag.
Okay. Anyone else there on Portland?
No, whenever I go over Portland, it's usually just Dame and Kanter. Don't love Kanter here tonight. And then Dame's a little too expensive for me. So like I said, just Dame in tournaments. We get the Melo. I see you have Melo here. Obviously, we get the revenge game for him against Denver. It's been like 10 years. So, I mean, I don't know if revenge is still fresh on his mind. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could play him there. But his game log looks pretty ugly, as you can see.
Yeah, it does look ugly, but if you're a game log guy, you gotta find like the hidden gem, the golden nugget. Maybe that golden nugget would be against the Nuggets, Chris. Maybe he'll have that good game here. 10 years later, still a deep wound, maybe. But yeah, Denver side, Millsap, JaMychal Green, Greg Whittington, and PJ Dozier all out for them. Porter Jr. probable tag for him. Projected starters, Jamal Murray, Will Barton, Michael Porter Jr., Najee, your boy Najee, Chris, and Jokic. You're shaking your head. Why?
Yeah, he's definitely not my boy. Yeah, I don't think he's. I mean, I've only seen him play a few times, but he hasn't looked too good. But yeah, Jokic is my guy here. He's 10.5 on FanDuel. Really like that price tag in cash games. DK, he's a little more expensive at 10.8. If you play him, you probably can't play the Nets guys and Giannis. I prefer Giannis on DK, actually. So not really landing on Jokic on DraftKings, but on FanDuel I am, just because he's center. You can only pick one center here. So really like that. Michael Porter Jr. as well on FanDuel, 5.7K there. Yeah, that price tag stands out to me, especially with Paul Millsap out, with JaMychal Green out, Gary Harris out. With Porter Jr., it's always been about the minutes. And like whenever Mike Malone, like the thing with him is that Mike Malone can pull him out at any given time. I don't really like Mike Malone as a coach, just because he's so, I don't know, he's very all over the place with his rotation sometimes. So the only safe guys are really Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. That's why I like Jokic so much. I think is this a hometown sort of thing against the Blazers? Did Michael Porter Jr. grow up in Seattle or something? I think he did. So I mean, it's not like hometown city. It's hometown Pacific Northwest, I guess. So next city over. But yeah, I don't know. I like Michael Porter Jr. a little bit on FanDuel for 5.7, and then obviously Jamal Murray is in play as well. He's been playing very well recently. If you look at his game log, he's just been crushing, been shooting a ton of shots as well. So he looks very aggressive now. He's a little pricey, but this matchup against the Blazers is very appealing. They're implied to score 119 points. So he's definitely in play for me in tournaments. Wouldn't do it in cash games, but really like that in tournaments.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Clement says Trae Young, good play on FanDuel. Thoughts?
Trae Young, a good play. Yeah, I always like Trae Young. I prefer Kyrie at point guard on FanDuel, but Trae Young is definitely in play in tournaments. I think I've mentioned it at the top of the show. He's been putting up huge games, has a ceiling of 70. Pretty safe floor as well. So definitely have interest in Trae Young.
Yeah, all I know is whenever you say Trae Young, you always say too cheap. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah, he never gets a bunch of ownership.
Yeah. Vian Jones says, my comment was in reference to how much you love the Nets guys tonight. I wasn't on them, but putting Harden in one of my lineups thanks to you. Dakota says, any interest in Aminu announced in the starting lineup for Orlando? Did he start last time for them?
Yeah, so I talked about it. That was one of the first games. So yeah, Aminu's there for the minimum on FanDuel. He started last game. I think he played like 16, maybe 18 minutes. So it's not like he played full starters minutes. They still have guys like Okiki there, and other guys like Kem Birch as well who get minutes. So I mean, I said if you want to pivot off of JaVale McGee on FanDuel, you can go down to Aminu. Only a 100 difference. But I don't think it changes too much in terms of projections. I think we already expected him to start because he started last game.
Yep. Charlie, see Charlie in here. What's up, Charlie? KJ, what's up? He says he hasn't seen Aminu in a while. Porter Jr. from PNW.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go into the 3 favorite plays here, category by category, overall value tournament. Before we do that, just a quick announcement. We'll be doing a giveaway today like we always do. So if we get 30 likes on this video, 30 thumbs up, we'll do a free week giveaway to the optimizer here at dfscrunch.com. So you get every sport here. You get our Discord community, so you got all that. So let's try to get to 30. But yeah, first core play, Chris. Not core play, favorite play. Overall play of the day today. Number 1 guy, can't go wrong with this guy on FanDuel. Who is it?
I'll say Kyrie Irving here. He's 8.8K. He's in that high total game. He's cheaper than Harden, obviously, so he's going to be my guy here.
Okay. Before we do that, Trigger says, why did JaVale McGee only play 6 minutes last game, Chris?
I think it was just the matchup against the Thunder. They put him in his normal rotation in the first quarter, then they pulled him at the start of the second quarter, so he didn't get any second quarter run. They probably just didn't like the matchup there. Allen ended up playing 42 minutes. Obviously, McGee played 6 minutes because they split the minutes there at center. I don't expect that to happen again. I probably expect like 32 to 34 minutes for Allen and then 14 to 16 for McGee. So I think he's a fine value play in cash games. I think I don't love it in tournaments just because I think the minutes, like, he doesn't have much upside unless Allen gets into foul trouble or gets hurt.
Okay, Kyle Lowry is actually saw it from Amfer as well. Doubtful today, Chris.
Wow. I don't know if it'll change much in terms of optimals just because they're all kind of priced as if Lowry was out. But yeah, definitely makes the Raptors a little bit more appealing in terms of their main guys like Van Vliet and Siakam.
Yep. Should be a good game as well. But yeah, value play of the day, Chris, today. Good value here. Lets you pay up for the studs. Obviously the not the Brooklyn guys, the Nets guys. So who's this here today?
Value play here on FanDuel. I don't know. There isn't like a great value play here. I don't love saying Michael Carter Williams, but I think he's the best one that we have for 4.5K still. He's consistently been hitting 5X in this role without Cole Anthony. I don't love him in tournaments, but I do think he's a really good value play in cash games.
Yep. Hasty says, who's getting Lowry's minutes? I think more for Van Fleet, Norm Powell, guys like that. I think we had Bembry as well getting some run too. So Bembry as well for the low price guys, but I think probably it's something better for like a guy like Norm Powell. I'd be more interested in him. Also, I think it would just solidify Fred as a solid play today for me in tournaments. I'm not sure about cash, Chris. What about would it solidify Fred as a cash piece or no?
Yeah, he's still a really good play. Like his price tag is 8-2 on FanDuel. But yeah, it's a tough matchup against Philly, obviously. But yeah, he gets a bump. Siakam gets a bump. Powell, like you said, Bembry as well. They've been starting Bembry. But this is the interesting thing for me. Aaron Baines actually started the second half of that last game over Bembry. So they start Aaron Baines here. I think he's going to be a really good option on DK for value at 3.2K. I think they do want to use his body against Embiid.
Yeah, I think it just depends if they're comfortable playing Siakam at the 5, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, like they started Baines in the second half there, so I'm going to assume that Baines will start here again tonight.
Yeah. Okay, last piece here on FanDuel. Tournament play of the day, Chris, the one that's going to be in the lineup that ships it. Not the low-owned guy, but just a guy that's going to be in that lineup. 100% guaranteed by Chris here on the show. Who is it?
Yeah, so let's go to my favorite game. We know that I love the Nets guys, so let's go with Fox on the other side here for 7-9 on FanDuel.
De'Aaron Fox. Okay, if you don't like that, Chris, you don't like DFS basketball. DraftKings, same thing. Overall play of the day. Who do you have?
We can go with Kyrie here again. 8-8 as well, so yeah, really good price tag.
Okay, and then value piece here.
So on DK, we have these Mavs guys that pop a little bit more with Willie Cauley-Stein and Dwight Powell. I'm not sure who's going to start there, so I'll go with another Maverick. I'll go with Tim Hardaway Jr. for 4.5K. I think he also gets a really big bump here with KP out.
Okay, that's a good pick. Like that one too. Tournament play of the day, Chris, the one that's going to be in the number 1 lineup in all the tournaments here. Guaranteed by you again. Who is it?
So I mean, I think we're 2 out of 2 in our last 2 days with Cat and Westbrook. So I mean, today I'm going to keep it the same on both sides. I'll go with De'Aaron Fox again.
Okay. Let's see. Trigger says T. Davis been getting some run lately. Let's see. He says he deserves it now. Yeah, he is a dog. I like Davis. He's a beast. But yeah.
Yeah, I think he played 25 last game.
Let's get into the core, Chris. FanDuel first. Let me sort by value here. Make it a bit easier. First guy up. Who do you have?
Yeah, we can go with Michael Carter Williams. I had him as my value guy. Really like him there. And then let's get some spend ups here. We can go with Kyrie Irving. I had him as my favorite play. Next up, let's just lock in the center here with Jokic. I think that's the right way to go.
Oh, Cam Reddish out, by the way.
Who?
Cam Reddish.
Oh yeah, he was doubtful, so that's as expected. So Jokic here at center, and then yeah, I think those 3 are going to be my main guys.
Just 3 locks. Hit build. Let's go.
Yeah, we got a big slate, so I mean, definitely a lot of routes to go.
Nice. Not too much of a train today, you don't think? Too big of a train?
I think there still will be. There always is with the top optimal team, but I mean, that's just how it goes. Yeah, so we can look at this first one, and then let's take a look at the second one as well. I mean, sorry, the third one, not the second one.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, so point guard, we obviously locked those two guys in. Harden, love the game environment for him. 11K, that's really like that play there. Middleton, too cheap, 7.2K going up against the Timberwolves. Obviously, Holiday is out again, so bumps his roll up. McGee, 3-6. Don't love it in terms of value, but I think we need to do it if we want to play Harden, Kyrie, and Jokic. So I'm fine with that. And then obviously Jokic at center. We have a 3v3 here: Hardaway, Finney Smith, Nerlens Noel versus Josh Jackson, Michael Porter, and Al-Farouq Aminu. Yeah, I'm going to be with this first side. We got the Mavs guys with Kleba and Porzingis out, so that helps Dorian Finney-Smith a lot in terms of probably rebounds. Kleba being out helps him, and then Hardaway being out. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis being out helps Hardaway in terms of shots and usage. So I do like those two Mavericks, and then we get Nerlens Noel also. I talked about him when we went over the Knicks, 5.3K here on FanDuel. I think that's a really good price tag for him against the Warriors.
Okay. Dennis Smith Jr. confirmed starting today. Question from Hasty. Michael Carter Williams again. Playing him feels wrong. Who would you pivot off for him? So I guess we could try this feature out, see what we get. Well, let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's Brunson in both. Would you consider this, Chris? Or would you, if you wanted to fade him, would you unlock him and just rebuild like that? Or what do you think?
Well, I mean, the thing with him is he's 4.5K on FanDuel. I don't really care who the player is. I care about what they can get me. He's been hitting 5x consistently for this price tag. He's playing around 30 minutes in this role. Obviously, they don't have many other point guards. I think Chason Randall is their backup point guard now with Cole Anthony out. So, I mean, I'm fine with playing Michael Carter Williams in cash games. There's really no concern there. He should be chalky as well. So, I mean, even if he sucks, it doesn't burn us.
Okay. Let's get into DK then. First core play, Chris. Who do you have? Hasty says he likes Brunson.
Yeah, so we could go with Giannis here. Start with the spend up. He's my favorite spend up here on DK for 11K.
Okay, number two.
Number two, let's go with, I think, my favorite value play that I had. Let's go with Tim Hardaway Jr. here.
Okay, locked and loaded. Third guy up.
Let's go with Kyrie here. I think I had him as my favorite play on DK. So he's 8-8 here as well. Really like that play.
Okay, fourth guy or just three?
Yeah, so I mean, since we're doing cash game lineups, I don't mind locking in both Cauley-Stein and Powell. I kind of mentioned it when I went over the Mavs. These guys on DK are both near the minimum, so 3-1 for Cauley-Stein, 3K for Dwight Powell. I expect them to get probably 40 minutes of the center position for the Mavericks tonight. Boston plays pretty big with Tice, Robert Williams, and Tristan Thompson. So these guys should see 40 minutes combined. We're paying 6-1 for 40 minutes here tonight against the Boston front court with these Mavericks. So definitely don't mind that in cash games.
Okay, let's go through some of these here, Chris. Hit build already. You always like the first one.
Yeah, so Sabin Lee not starting kind of makes me feel better about not playing him, so I have no problems with that. And then, yeah, we could take a look at the first two. I think the build here on DK for now is very obvious. Yeah, so we have Harden, Shake Milton, 3-9. I think Shake Milton is a fine play today. On DraftKings, he's playing like 30 minutes. Didn't see a restriction really in his first game back, so I don't expect one tonight. So definitely don't mind Shake Milton for 3-9. And then Giannis locked him, Cauley-Stein and Powell locked them, Kyrie locked him, and Hardaway locked him. So we just have a 1v1 here, Herder versus Gallo. I mean, if you pick Gallo over Herder in cash games, I don't know, you probably shouldn't be playing DFS. So, I mean, this Herder side is just completely the obvious side for me tonight.
It's harsh.
Why?
What if someone picks Gallo instead?
In cash games? I mean, send me your head-to-heads.
Send me your head-to-heads? Why do you like Herder so? Like, why is it the clear play? Just so people know.
Yeah, so we kind of went over it when we went over the Hawks. So I mean, with Reddish out, with Hunter out, just solidifies Herter's minutes more. I expect him to see probably 36 here. Don't expect Gallo to see anywhere near that. Obviously, he's old. He has bad knees. Probably has a bad back too. He's probably going to see like 24, 26 minutes. He's a better point per minute guy, but I mean, in cash games, I think we just go with Herter, who should see the floor a lot more.
So minutes thing for you there. Makes sense there. Okay, anything else, Chris, for the slate overview today? Let me check on the giveaway status. Don't think we're gonna get 9 out of nowhere, Chris. 9 away. But yeah, anything you want to go over, Chris, for the slate here? Anything that we need to watch leading up to lock?
No, I mean, there's probably some news that we need to watch. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not sure, but I mean, we'll deal with that as the news comes out.
Yep. Okay, I guess that is it here. I see a question. Dorian Finney-Smith is making Trigger sick. Hasty doesn't like that as well. What do you make of that, Chris? What's your response?
Yeah, I need Thomas in here. Thomas is a big dodo guy. But yeah, with Kleba out, I think it just solidifies his minutes. He's 4-3 on FanDuel, so I mean, I definitely don't think it's a bad play. I don't think it's a great play. He only pops up in one of the top 10 teams, I believe. So if you want to fade him, go for it. But I'm probably going to play him.
Yep. Question from Jaden says Jamal or Irving tournaments.
That's close because I think Irving is just a much better play today. But I mean, Irving's going to be a lot higher owned. So I mean, depends on the tournament. Like if it's like the big tournament, go with Jamal Murray, I guess. But if it's something small like 3 entry max, single entry, even 20 entry max, I'll just go with the safety of Irving.
Yeah. Hasty's pushing for the 30 likes, Chris, for the spin wheel. Do you think we'll get it?
I see 21, so I mean, I don't know.
VN Jones says Sabin didn't start for Detroit last game, came off the bench for 30 DraftKings points. He says he's going to run him in one of his tournament lineups. You like that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I talked about it last game when he was the minimum on both sites. Now he's 5K on FanDuel, 3-2 on DK, so he's still definitely in play on DraftKings. I sort of meant I'm fine with fading him in cash games now that he's not starting.
Yep. Okay. I think that's it for today, guys. I'll be back at it tomorrow, 2.5 hours before main slate for the first game. So before you go, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Helps people find our content, so we appreciate that a lot. Also, if you liked it, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell button, hit all. Like I said, every single day we do the show, weekends included. So definitely come back here, get your slate overview with us, get your questions answered, all that sort of stuff. Chris knows his stuff, so it's definitely a solid place to be. Good community here, good group of guys here. Other than that, you can follow us at DFS Crunch as well on Twitter. And then the other thing here is our optimizer. So if you saw, if you liked what you saw here, you want to try it out yourself, just go to our site, dfscrunch.com, get yourself an account, and automatically applied, you get a free 3-day trial, so you don't get charged until after 3 days. You can cancel anytime before then, won't be charged at all, so you have 72 hours after you create your subscription here. So definitely try that out. Every slate's a good slate to try it out. Free 3-day ATM machine from Dakota, 100%. But yeah, we're going to be in the Discord like we always are, answering more questions there, updating core plays if anything changes. As always, projections here, they'll update all throughout the slate, so you don't have to worry about that yourself. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, appreciate all the questions you guys bring in here, all the comments as well. We'll see you all tomorrow, and good luck tonight.